Hey, how's it going, y'all? Welcome back to the Gil Podcast. This podcast is about me, Gil, and the things that I'm currently obsessed with. On today's podcast, this is a very selfish episode. I know it's funny because the podcast is about Gil, me, and the things that I'm currently obsessed with, but this conversation is about the camera world and ethics, working with brands, advertisers, and all that. I mean, if you're in the camera world right now, the content creator world, in that the camera niche, you understand what's going on with the Lumix. You understand what's going on with the Insta360 deal and what all that really means. And sadly, there's a lot of people that I know personally that don't know anything about this. Like, there's so much drama going on in the world. I text one of my friends, L, about this, and we were deliberating about a bunch of other stuff. And I just told her, the world is so beautiful. I mean, it's not that drama is great, but it's so interesting how you have so many different people that could be doing the same exact thing, working day to day, living next door to each other, and they're consuming so many different things. So it's funny because I'm so invested in this. I'm not invested in the camera drama, but I'm invested in it as far as, like, let's see a solution. I'm going to get into it for those of you who don't know. And for those of you who do, I'm going to share my take on what's going on. So to me, where everything started was maybe like a month or two ago with this brand called Insta360. And there's this, I forget his name. I think his YouTube name is iPhone. He's a great YouTuber. I've been following him for years. And there was another creator who put out and said that this company called Insta360 wants them to make a video, and the video is a sponsored video, meaning the company paid them to make the video. But Insta360 said, hey, you know what, man? Nobody really likes those type of videos. If you just made it like more authentic and genuine, I'm just paraphrasing. That's not what they said. But if you could just, like, not mention that this video is sponsored, that would be cool. Maybe some people might not know this, but that is illegal. And also YouTube does ask you, when you publish the video, a lot of creators, I don't want to say a lot of creators, just a lot of people, because just because you put videos on YouTube doesn't mean that you're a creator. I'm just going to be real. I know a lot of people who have a ton of videos on YouTube and they're doing great. They're not creating anything but just uploading videos. And that's another argument for a different day. But there are a lot of people who just would ignore that checkbox. But there are a lot of creators who really care about their craft and who care about authenticity and care about transparency and whatnot. And Insta360 was asking people and had people create videos and say that, and not mention that this video is sponsored, meaning Insta360 might have paid this dude or this lady or this chick $5,000 to do a quick video, maybe $10,000 to do a video. Insta360 provided the camera, whatever the case is. And iPhone and this other individual, I believe it was a woman or a young man, they were a little bit uncomfortable, and they shared, if I'm not mistaken, a transcript of the text or email where Insta360 did in fact ask this person to not mention that this video was sponsored. And the thing is, like, I was trying to explain this to a few of my friends. I'm a derail here. I was trying to explain this situation to a few of my friends while they were telling me about everything else that was going on in the world, like Beyonce getting an audio leak from a few months ago, how she was talking about this other person who's not going to be able to do any work with her anymore because of something. And that drama happened. And there's drama with this dude named Saucy Santana. There's drama with P. Diddy. There's drama with Andrew Schultz, to me, one of my favorite comedians and creators and podcasters, right? Then there's issues with books releasing. And my friend was telling me all this stuff. And I was like, let me tell you about this situation. And it was funny because I would listen to their I wouldn't say problem, or listen to them like vent and hear all this excitement about their thing. And even though I didn't really care, I mean, I did care. This is my friend. They're telling me about whatever the case is. I don't remember what it was. I think he was talking about the Porsche 911 just got redid or something like that, which I love cars. I love a lot of things. If my friend has an interest, I'm going to slightly take an interest in it because I genuinely love having conversations. I have a friend who was into making shirts. Then I started making logos and shirts, understanding the consistencies of different fabrics, and I even was making like backpacks and purses and getting into sewing. Then I had a friend who was into biking. I got a bike. I got a friend who was into writing books. I published a book of poems. It's like, hey, if my friend is into something, I'm going to enjoy it because they enjoy it. And I'd like to at least have a conversation with them regarding this fixation, this hobby, whatever the case is. As long as that is healthy, you know, it's just one of those things where like I care because my friend cares, you know? If my friend is talking about, her dating a polyamorous guy who's also a drug dealer, who's also bi, and she's telling me about him, I'd listen to the stories and I'll take interest. I'll ask questions. Am I interested in a polyamorous, gay, biracial drug dealer? No, I'm not. But my friend is, and I'll care to listen. But this podcast is like two different topics. I want to talk about the ethics thing, but I also want to talk about this. I found it so hard to find people to care about this camera thing that's going on. It was so weird. And I talked to my wife about it earlier, and she's like, well, people don't really care. But I'm like, I don't really care about the Porsche 911 or this polyamorous guy. But I love my friends being excited about things and talking to them about it. And this camera drama and this content creator space. And then I noticed with a lot of AI tools and a lot of camera lenses and all these other YouTuber stuff, I love talking about it, but I found it really hard to communicate that with other people or to find people to talk about it with because it just don't really care. And I was like, oh man, I got nobody to talk to about this situation. And then Friday afternoon, Tom Buck and Heather uploaded they have a live stream, and then the live stream just so happened to be covering this. They've been covering this particular topic maybe for the past 2 or 3 live streams because it's such a big thing. And I found solace in the group chat, or the group chat, what you call it, the live chat, whatever. I found like, oh man, these are my people. It felt great to like read. I was actually like reading other people's thoughts, engaging. And I was like, yeah, this is great. And hearing the streamers, Heather and Tom, talk about the thing. And I'm like, man, all right, I have nobody in my real life that is interested in talking about this topic. But gee golly, I think the stream had, I don't know, I'm just going to throw a number out there, maybe like 300 to 400 people. I don't know about 300 to 400, maybe like 100 people in the chat just talking about this particular thing. And it was fantastic. I felt seen and heard. So I guess the moral story of that, as I derailed, is, sometimes you feel alone in your niche, let it be if you're into wrestling, whatever. And then you go online and you find so many people who share the same interests as you. And gee golly, did I feel lonely this week. It's just like dealing with a lot of other creator mishaps. And then you try to vent your frustration to a friend, and they're like, yeah, man, I guess you gotta, update, your computer, bro. You gotta keep it updated. And I'm like, oh my God, that's not what happened. I was talking about a video that I could not figure out how to deal with. It wasn't dead pixels. It was bad frames. I was exporting a video podcast for a client, and it just would fail. And it just would fail at 90%, 92%, 99%. And I just got to get it to this client. and I couldn't because I have no idea. It would say bad frame, meaning there is an image that I downloaded that I put into this podcast because this person was talking about a particular celebrity. So I have a photo of this celebrity, and that photo, the series of photos, because it was multiple, were not. They were just something was going on with the file, and it would not export. It would not. It wouldn't allow me to export the video, and it'll say 11 minutes in, this image is corrupted. You need to like. But I'm like, I have to have that thing in there. So I download it, or take a screenshot of another image of Jay-Z, upload it, wait forever and into infinity for it to like get to 99% and it'll say fail. So I was trying to explain that to a friend, and it's like, they've never created anything in their life. They have posted stuff on the TikToks. They've posted stuff on the Instagram reels, but it's like, to actually sit there and compile audio and video and, different assets, put them into Final Cut Pro, from start to finish, and export the project and deal with a lot of mishaps and issues. They've never done that. And I was like, I was speaking Chinese, and maybe to somebody right now I'm speaking Chinese, but I hope you can hear like my annoyance and frustration. It's like, I want to vent and talk to a friend about a particular thing that I'm going through, and then have them at least try to understand what I'm talking about. I don't know. This turned into a different, it's turned to a different thing. Gil is lonely and needs more creative friends. That's why I try to get all my friends to start a podcast so we can all have the same grievances. Hey, you know what they say? Misery loves company. Yeah, that was a very weird turn. But I really want to, that's all I wanted to say about that. It's like, I really wish I had more creative friends to talk to and like share. Like, I got so many different group chats. Like, oh my gosh, Diddy, so-and-so, oh my gosh, did you see Anna Taylor? What's her name? The beautiful woman who is in the new Mad Max movie. I think her name is Anna Taylor something. Anna Taylor-Joy. Yeah. Oh my God, do you see Anna Taylor-Joy and such and such? I'm like, yeah, she's fantastic. And then you got another group chat. Then I'm like, these guys don't care what Gerald Undone said. They don't even know who Gerald Undone is. Oh, well. All right, let's talk about the camera beef. So I talked about the Insta360 situation. Again, they were trying to tell people who partnered with them, the YouTubers, podcasters, photographers, to get this camera, or they'll give them the camera, and to make a sponsored video and not mention it being sponsored. iPhone, though, called him out and said that he will no longer be working with them. And he won't be working with any company that does this because it is illegal. Here's the thing. Somebody will say, but Gil, like, what does it matter? Like, it's between you and this major corporation. They paying you. Why should you care if you not say that the video is sponsored? Well, the thing is, what they want you to do is basically make a video. They pay you $25,000, the price of like a Hyundai Sonata or something. I don't know. I'm just like throwing it out there. And they want you to make a video and not say that it's sponsored. And then by them paying you, you have to say that the thing is good. You might want to like not say that you might not want to share the bad things about said product. You might want to, I'm not going to mention this thing. And what ended up happening was a lot of the creators, if you like do the search for Insta360, the latest one, you see a lot of the creators not mention that the video was sponsored. You have a lot of great creators, like people who I trust, like iJustine. She's phenomenal. iJustine is one of those creators where I personally have been watching since like the inception, since I was living with my parents, since I was like 17. I want to say, like, she has been amazing. It's one of those things where my wife gets chills and feels good when there's like a new product or something new out. And then I put on iJustine. She's like, oh my gosh, you're still watching her. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. We were dating like in 2009. You were still watching her. Then there's MKBHD, Marquez Brownlee. What's his name? Hyman Rivera. You have a lot of creators. And then of course there's Philip DeFranco, where I've been watching since I was in high school, and then I remember when Philip DeFranco, he was sponsored by, it wasn't BetterHelp. I think it was like something like BetterHelp, like an online therapy program. And that company was actually hiring people who weren't clinical therapists or I don't remember the technicality of the situation, but they were hiring like just hiring people who had like maybe like a 90-day course, like an online PowerPoint, allegedly. I think this company was lying about the things that the professionalism of this company, they lied about. And Philip DeFranco stopped working with them. That meant a lot. And he even like made a video saying that, hey, I'm so sorry. I don't know if he took down he's not gonna take down those videos, but he like made several videos to say, hey, when a company reaches out to sponsor, I'm going to do better to find out if this company is a good fit for the channel. And do they represent the channel? Do they have good ethics? What do they really stand for? Because, you don't want to work with any brand just because they're paying you. It was also this other one where you plant a tree or something like that. Hey, you can get like a stake up, be a lord of a land. You pay, $20 and you get to have like a certificate that you have a plot of land and, whatever. And you become a lord and you get the certificate. Turned out it was all fake. He made a video apologizing for even like partnering up with them. That he made several other videos saying that I'm going to be more, I just learned this word on this live stream I just watched with Tom Buck. He's going to be more litigious, being aware that like, not, what does that even mean? I don't know what that means. I think it means being aware of like legalities or like not trying to get sued. Litigious. Unreasonably prone to go to law to settle dispute. What, did I read that right? Do I know how to read? Suitable to become subject to a lawsuit. Okay. Yeah, so just being aware of things, because that's really bad. And that, to me, showed a lot of character. He was not putting money ahead of anything. And then, so now 20 minutes in, y'all understand the Insta360 situation. That was like, past few months. Now, as of last week or the week before, there's this camera company called Lumix. They make really great cameras. I have never used a Lumix camera. I have been I've been like a second operator on a set of a live, I think it was like a reality TV show. The few of the guys on set had Lumix. So I wasn't operating it, but I was operating it. But I didn't, I don't own it. I've never really used a Lumix camera like that, but I've been on set where they have them, if that makes sense. And they're great cameras. A lot of people use them. I'm not a fan. For me, I really love full frame. Like, I really love using full frame cameras. Lumix recently did make a few full frame cameras, but then again, for me to like transfer everything, like that's the thing people don't understand about cameras, is that when you buy into a camera, you're buying into a system. And for a very long time, I was shooting with the Nikon F mount, and which has been here for over 100 years, right? So this camera mount isn't going anywhere. So that's one of the main reasons why I moved over to Nikon, because in a lot of my photography friends and mentors had Nikon. So I would use Nikon. I started with the Nikon J1, which is a micro four thirds. Then I moved to a Nikon D32, which is a crop sensor. And with the D32, I was able to use the same lenses when I got my full frame Nikon D750 to not podcast. What am I talking about? To do photography and videography. And it worked. It worked great. Actually, I did start using it to film podcasts. And then that camera still works today. Ultimately, I had to move away because I was moving and leaning towards more video production for podcasts. which would require me to film 4K video, which would require me to film a video of somebody sitting down talking more than 24 minutes. If you don't know, the Nikon's F series aren't meant for video production. So you can't have the camera running or recording longer than 24 minutes. They'll just shut off due to some legality stuff where if it's a photo camera, it's a photo camera. It's not a video camera. Video cameras will enable you to shoot longer than 24 minutes. It's stupid, right? So yeah, the camera would just shut off or like stop recording after 24 minutes on the Nikon F mount, the older ones. Now the Z's, I'm not sure if they have a recording limit. I'm not educated on that, but I moved over to Sony for the unlimited record limits and the autofocus. The Nikon autofocus wasn't the best. So this is like one of those things where I got the camera because of a need and also because of people on YouTube, promoting these cameras. But let's talk about the Lumix, right? So the Lumix drama simply happened because Lumix came out with this new camera called the Lumix S9. I believe, yes, the Lumix S9. So these cameras are pretty much up my alley. I'm a low-key hipster. I have two Sony A7Cs because I love the way that they look. They look great and they work great. Are they the best video camera? Heck no, but they're fun to use. And the Lumix S9, it just I don't even think is out yet. It's coming soon. So Lumix flew out a ton of creators, like so many. I was like, wow, there's so many people getting flued out. There's a lot of creators that I love. And the thing about the video is there was something weird about it. Like immediately, there were so many people talking about this camera, said that it's fun to use. And the camera had a lot of I wouldn't say flaws. It just had a lot of things where I was like, oh, that's weird that they did that. Okay, that's cool. It doesn't have like a viewfinder, which is fine. They want you to use the display. It has a flip out screen, which is super duper important. And I think it comes with like 3 different colors. It comes in like this really sexy leather green jade, like a green color. It looks really dope. And a dark olive is what they're calling it. Let me look at the other colors. So I'm like on here on B&H. Lumix S9er. They have black, obviously. They have a really beautiful blue. It's called night blue. I really like that blue. Blue's my favorite color if you don't know by now. Then there's this crimson red. Looks like a Valentine vampire red blood. Looks good. Looks really good. So it's a 24 megapixel camera. It's compact. It's super light. And it shoots 10-bit video, 4K 422. If you don't know what that means, Google it. So it's supposed to have like really cool features, right? But it's very limited to some regard. Like for me, it's just like, the record limit. Sometimes I do record via Ecamm. So I don't really record on an SD card, but when I'm like run and gun, I'm at a client space or I'm at a studio, I like to record to the SD card, and I like to pop the SD card in and record and not have to worry about the camera overheating. My A7 IV does a really good job at not overheating. The Sony A7C, it won't overheat past maybe like 2.5 hours. And a lot of times I'm recording here a long while doing just podcast video production, interviews, documentary style stuff, and having a recording limit, it's like crazy. It's, what is this, 1995? But I get it. They're marketing this towards content creators, which is like just a weird thing. I don't know. Like it's a small camera. It doesn't really grip. It's not really like a grippy camera. There's really no hand grip there. It's really small. I mean, like I'm fine with a micro HDMI, but at the same time, like using my A7 IV with that full fatty full size HDMI. Like it's great. Like it's not going anywhere. For some reason, in my experience, I'm not repeating things from other people. I don't know, even though people do that, the micro HDMI is not really solid. It is very flaky. But anyways, a lot of people are talking about this camera, saying that it's great, saying that it has all these cool things, but it really doesn't. It really is very limited. And like, the record limit, sometimes I do record via Ecamm. So I don't really record on an SD card, but when I'm like running gun, I'm at a client space or I'm at a studio, I like to record to the SD card, and I like to pop the SD card in and record and not have to worry about the camera overheating. My A7 IVs does a really good job at not overheating. The Sony A7C, it won't overheat past maybe like 2.5 hours. And a lot of times I'm recording here a long while doing just podcast video production, interviews, documentary style stuff, and having a recording limit, it's like crazy. It's what is this, 1995? But I get it. They're marketing this towards content creators, which is like just a weird thing. The videos that I've seen, people were just basically selling it as if it was amazing. I don't know. Like I wouldn't get this camera. Like if this camera had like, a little bit more thicker, had a little bit more features, and for me, features as far as like dual XLR, not XLR, dual SD card slots. I don't know. Like I don't even think it has like it's like it has like no dial in the back. I wouldn't. Every camera is a professional camera to me. Like if you can like create with it, but it doesn't it has like a lot of missing dials. It's small. I'm not even sure if it's going to be good for good for shooting videos long term because it's super tiny and it probably could overheat. So, but a lot of people were not really talking about that, right? As far as the photo video quality, phenomenal. Boop doo 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 doo. Phenomenal. Doo 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 doo. It looks really good, but I really wish it was a little bit thicker. I kind of wish I had a viewfinder simply because like it looks like a film camera, like a little range film camera, in my opinion. I like it a lot, but for me to like get the camera and invest in Lumix lenses, the L mount, the L Alliance, nah, I'm not doing that. That's going to be a big waste. The camera is going for 17. Oh, what's this? 14. I don't know why I said 17. 1497. Okay. So $1,500. It's just the way that people were talking about this camera that went there. And I'm not sure. I didn't hear anybody not say that they got flued out, but no, actually I lied. Some people didn't mention that they flew them out, and it was weird. The videos were great. Videos were shot great. They were in Japan, by the way. So they got flued out to Japan. Here's the thing. Like for me, if somebody like flies me out for anything, I'm letting people know, hey, this video is like, hey, I got flew out to Japan. Like I love Japan, Japanese culture. I mean, I'm a Haitian kid. I love anime. I love cartoons. And so if I were to go to Japan, if a company would fly me out to Japan, I'm like, hey, company's the best company. I'm gonna be super biased. And that's the thing about like a product reviews or videos like that, like the video person, the host, they have to acknowledge their bias. Like they have to acknowledge like, hey, I'm just letting you know that I'm Gil. This camera company sees my video and they're like, you're amazing. We're going to fly you to the place that you want to be so badly. We're going to fly you to Japan and you get to have this camera and make a video about it. Go ahead. Like that to me would be like, I mean, I ain't finna say nothing bad about Lumix. I'm gonna fight anybody who got something bad to say about Lumix. Just authentically, just because I'm like, damn, this person just flew me out, and I'm just gonna like crap on their camera. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna try to find a soft landing. Like I mean, I would be biased, but I'll also be honest too. Definitely let you know I'm excited to be here. But this camera does have a lot of flaws. And I think immediately I'll address that. I'll address the samurai in the room. Hey, they flew me out here and I'm really excited to be here. It's a pleasure to be here. So yeah, there's that. I saw maybe 2 or 3 videos where that wasn't the case. One in particular, I was like, hey, yo, are you just pretending that you're just a creator who goes to Japan frequently? Come on, dude. You have all these people who flew out making this camera review for this camera. And you know who did a good job? Kofi. Kofi did a good job. Terry Warfield, so many different people. I respect it. They did an outstanding job. It's like, so you get flew out to this event. You say yes. You're going to get the potentiality to like get so many views because guess what? This camera's coming out and everybody wants to learn about the camera. Oh my gosh, my favorite YouTuber got flued out. Like I'm gonna support like a lot of the creators that went, I watched. And I find it like it'll be really hard to make a negative review on it. I don't think there was a negative review. And I think that's the criticism of what's been going on. It's not even like, oh, these people are shills and they should not be, you should never watch their content again. It's like, man, what would you do? Stupid. What would you do in that scenario? I understood what Gerald Undone mentioned. He said that he never ever films content when he goes to places. I don't know. He might have just started implementing that. I'm not even sure if he ever did. But I think I did remember seeing him in like Sony Camera Camp 1 or 2 times. I don't know. This Gerald Undone did have a video production company, so he's a little bit more litigious than some. Obviously, like Gerald Undone is killing it. And people were saying that he's a bit salty because Lumix didn't want him to go. I don't even know if that's true. People just be saying stuff. And, for me, it's basically like we need to have this discussion because this can fall not only in a camera world, but this can also fall into other consumer electronic stuff or home stuff. If you go on TikTok, they're selling things like crazy. I saw this one gentleman, he was trying to sell an enema, like a laxative. No, not enema, a laxative. He said, hey man, I was feeling so tired. And he starts you up right. He hooks you really good. You ever been feeling tired and you feel bloated and whatever? I drunk this thing and this thing cleared me out. Man, I was in the toilet and I had like worms in the toilet or whatever. And I feel so much lighter and so much better. Like all the bacteria left my stomach and this and that. And I was like, wow, that sounds insane. Maybe like 2 or 3 days later, there's this other gentleman saying the exact same thing, almost word for word, bar for bar, talking about this laxative. And I'm just like, wait, hold on. Is this a script? Like, what? Wait, do they even use it? Then I look on the gentleman's page and he's selling like teeth whitening. All his TikTok videos are just ads. And I'm like, does he really use these products? Or is he just trying to like get some affiliate links from TikTok? Even like one thing I think about too a lot, I said this on the live stream that I watched earlier. I have a home office that I built myself. I've watched a lot of other creators. I took a lot of inspiration from a lot of other creators, and some of the inspiration just came from me just thinking outside of the box. For me to bring, I had an i7, not i7, an i9 MacBook Pro, and I recently got an M3 MacBook Pro. The work it took for me to like bring my setup with the MacBook Pro M3, using the hard drive, using my monitors. I bought a CalDigit TS4, just finding ways to finagle the cables just to make everything work seamlessly for me for me to produce podcasts for clients, for myself. It takes a lot. By the way, I'm working full time and I have other things I'm doing for other people, right? And then I go on YouTube and there's like one creator, this creator, this creator. I got a new desk and I'm setting it up here. And I'm like, oh shoot, man, he set up that desk. Oh, I got a new workbench, and I organized it, and I had all the lenses, and I have a battery thing for that. I'm like, oh my gosh, how does he? Oh, guys, I got a new mic. This microphone is. I'm like, whoa, he got a new mic. How, how's that mic working with the computer now that it's? And I'm like feeling so inadequate. I'm like, man, I'm not efficient enough. Like so and so just bought that, and they already fitted it to their setup. They got a new desk and it's working this way. How are they so efficient and I'm not? And it's like they're not even using that product, bro. They just set it up, recorded a video, and then hit record, said what they needed to say to sell it, put the Amazon affiliate link, put the company's affiliate link, and then they got paid. Is it either a sponsored video or not? And that sucks because then you have people watching your videos, and let's say like people who try to tell people to buy stuff. Let's say for the Go XLR. I don't know. I'm weird with technology. I am, because I'm not, money doesn't grow on trees. So anytime I buy a product, I have to see multiple people using it, and there has to be multiple ways for me to use the product. Like I don't want to buy a one trick pony just for just for giggles, right? So I have to make sure that this product works. I have to make sure that there's going to be updates, there's support for said product, and then I buy it. If like the Rodecaster Pro is something that I did so much research on for me to buy and for me to figure out multiple ways for me to use it. And I remember the Go XLR. I had this friend of mine was trying to get me to sell. Actually, two friends of mine were trying to get me to. Oh no, you have to buy it. You have to buy it. I think they even wanted me to get like a Focusrite Solo or something. And I said, well, my gaze is a little bit further out than these devices. Like I'm going to do more than just that. And also, I'm not too certain that these products get frequent updates. And there were so many videos, Go XLRs. You have to use the Go XLR. Hey, you have to use the Focusrite. You have to use this. I remember watching a video, and there was this person trying to get people to like, don't buy the Rodecaster Pro. I don't remember what it was. It was like a Behringer or something. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I remember using a Behringer ZX80, whatever it was, and it was cool. But I was like, I don't know if this Behringer gets updates, for computers. When you update to the latest operating system, would it still work? I'm worried I think about stuff like that because I'm a consumer. And the funny thing is, Go XLR, I think, stopped production, and they stopped, updating the software of the device. And if you paid for that thing, assuming that you're going to have it forever to live stream, it no longer supports your device. So if you update to the latest macOS Sonoma or whatever the case is, it might not work. And that's what I tell people all the time. It's like, you watch these YouTubers promote these things, these streamers promote these things, and then they don't understand the logistics of it working with your computer or not. Or would it work down the line in the future? That's the things that I think about when I'm purchasing equipment or software. You have to be very patient be very patient when you're purchasing stuff, and to take the time to study, and also like read the room. Like if I watch a video and Behringer, invited all these people to Sweden or something, and they all made a video about the Behringer Xenon 22 XLR USB mixer, and they're all talking about it in the sauna in Sweden and all that. And I'm like, oh, that'll be great. So-and-so's there. I trust them. Let me buy this mixer. No, do your due diligence. And before you buy anything, just as dope as the video can be, you just have to be sure that what you want is what you want, and you want it because you want it, not because somebody's selling it to you. Yes, I've been there. I've been that person who watched a video on YouTube and clicked buy because I knew for like, let me see, I'm trying to think, like, what was like one thing that I saw? The only thing that I bought immediately from a YouTube video was the Rodecaster Pro 2, and I'm looking at it right now. They did a launch event, and it's supposed to come out like on a Monday. I pre-ordered it right then and there. I clicked on, I think Tom Buck had, I don't think, I know. Tom Buck had a video talking about it and like, hey, this is going to be coming out. Said whatever. Here's the pre-order link. I clicked on that B&H link and I bought it. It was like 795 or 765, and I bought it, and then it came super early. And when I got it, I played around with it. I updated it, did what I needed to do. And 2 days later, I had a podcast that I was filming for a client. And I bought the Rodecaster Pro 2, but I also had my Rodecaster Pro 1 just in my truck. Just, I don't know, not just in case. I just had it because it was in a case. And long story short, Elle could attest to this if she's listening. My Rodecaster Pro 2 that was brand new stopped working. It wasn't working. It was just acting up. I didn't understand what was going on. It just wouldn't work. And luckily I had my Rodecaster Pro 1. So I was able to like give the client their podcast or help them produce their podcast. And it was like, oh my gosh, I watched a video with Tom Buck and a lot of other creators talk about how amazing this thing is going to be and how powerful it is, and my experience with the Rodecaster Pro 1. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to make a great purchase. This is going to be good. Come to find out, the first batches of the Rodecaster Pro 2 were not good. They were no bueno. They had a lot of bugs and issues. And, was Tom Buck lying to me? No. He had his unit, which was I don't know if it was a pre-production model, but actually it was pre-production, obviously, because they weren't producing it in mass. He has a pre-production model to this day. He still has it. It he has had no issues whatsoever. I have my first Rodecaster Pro 1, and I have had no issues. It still works. And my Rodecaster Pro 2, just when I bought it brand new, it just had weird things going on. Sent it back to Rode. They replaced it, and everything's fine. And this one has had no issues. Knock on wood. So it's just one of those things where like we have to like appreciate when people are super honest and they say, hey, this video is sponsored. Or, hey guys, this video, I got this thing for free from this company, so I'm going to be a little bit more biased. Or that, just like Elgato actually sent me, when I did the math, it was pretty crazy. They sent me so much stuff. 2 microphones, 4 microphone arms, 2 different kinds of Elgato wave arm, Elgato low profile arm. They sent me like lights. They sent so much stuff. A Stream Deck XL. They sent backdrop, a green screen backdrop. They didn't send the foot pedal. Oh, the Elgato prompter. Did they send me the foot pedal? No, I bought that. I bought that one. But it was great. And then I've made videos regarding these things, and it's like, yeah, Elgato sent this to me. They're pretty awesome. And I will always say that because they're awesome and they sent me those stuff. They didn't have to, but it's just one of those things where I create content for people and people will ask me, hey, how are you holding the camera up there? Oh, I'm using the Elgato wave arm. This is the only arm that actually has a quarter 20 thread that enables you to connect a camera to it. You can't just get an arm to do that. So my whole entire setup has changed because of Elgato. They gave me a product to use it one way, and I just chose to use it in another way. And people ask me about this arm all the time. I've been to my Amazon affiliate link thing, and I've seen a lot of people buying this arm because of the way I set it up. But I'll always mention that Elgato sent it to me because that's just the right thing to do. Be honest. and transparent so that we know, the consumers, we know what to expect. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for listening. If you did enjoy this podcast, share it with someone, share it with a creator. I might not have everything right here. I could be dead wrong, but this is just my thoughts, in my opinion, on this thing. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. If you did, comment down below. This is going to be on YouTube as well. I'm going to figure out how to do Buzzsprout. I wanted to transfer this podcast to Buzzsprout. It is $12 a month. So I'll have to figure out. I had Buzzsprout before, but one feature Tom Buck shared on the Buzzsprout YouTube channel, he's been doing some video work for them lately, that now you can actually send messages to the podcast, like text, like right then and there, and like communicate with me. That'd be great. So that y'all could actually be, one thing I like about it is that it's super stress-free. All you do is click the link right there in the description of the podcast, and the window pops up and you can send a text message. That's dope. That's people are going to be using that all the time to send questions and whatnot, because, you know, to get the podcast, hey guys, email me at, this takes too much work. I'm lazy. People are lazy, and that's okay. But if y'all want to, you know, send a message, just go on YouTube, because it's going to be published on YouTube, and just leave a comment, and that'll be dope. So like I did before, I'm doing a new segment where I highlight the people who are supporting me on this podcast via Patreon. And that is Hassan. Check out Hassan. I'm going to put a link to his YouTube video, his YouTube channel, in the description below. Shout out to my wife. She's amazing. She doesn't have a YouTube channel, but she does support me on Patreon. And shout out to Elle. She has a podcast called The Agreeable Gray Area. Check it out anywhere you listen to podcasts. And if y'all want to support the show, please do me a favor and check out my book, my photography word search book. It's on Amazon. Just type in photography word search, 250 words. It's pretty fun, and I actually have a project coming out. I just got a proof, an author copy of this book. I think it's going to be really, really great. I'm going to post a photo of it in my Patreon. So join the Patreon to check that out, and it's going to be really cool. So stay tuned for the next episode. All right. Bye.